Yeah, it's on. The call is on. Yeah. क्या कर रहे हो तुम? हाँ, I started the call, ring भी हुआ. Get confused and you make others confused. Okay, so we were talking about this fourth station, which is acquiring the body of the dharma body of the Buddha, and then in that we have seen that there are three sections, basically two major sections: his pravachanakaya, his body in the form of his teachings, discourses, and dharma body in the sense of attainment. So we have seen that in the first part, his teachings, I mean, body in terms of teaching, we have seen that one should not attach to the discourses, and there we have seen that these teachings of the Buddha, uh, which are in the form of discourses, but they are just words in a way. Mm. And he asks this question that would there be any people who would trust when the sutra is being taught? And the Buddha says, yes, the bodhisattvas, the mahasattvas would be there in the future time, who would, I mean, even though that's a time of dharma vipralopa, the disappearance of the dharma, sadharma, because this is a time of five-fold or five types of impurities, or you can say five types of decay, the Panchakashaya period. Even at that time, only the bodhisattvas will be there who will trust this teachings as real teaching, as the true dharma, right? So and so he gives that assurance to Subhuti that there will be people, and in this way, I mean, bodhisattvas are encouraged to aspire to learn these sutras, yeah, to learn such discourses, to understand such discourses. But at the same time, I mean, so this is a kind of the Chanda Pranidhana uh, type, I mean, step, you can say. And then in the following section, he says that what do you say? Mm. But these dharmas, actually, the dharmas which are taught by the Buddha, uh, these dharmas, but the dharma, the discourses. Uh, I mean, he said that the Buddha, I mean, yeah, this point that he said that the bodhisattvas will trust it, and why will they trust it? What is so special about it? And he said that because they have the virtues, they have the shila, and they have the wisdom. Uh, so basically, and then they will be they are capable of understanding the sutra because they have earned lots of merit and knowledge, uh, not just by serving one Buddha, but by serving many Buddhas. They have attained the merit and also attained the knowledge. So they will have the capacity to understand this sutra. Uh, so this is the assurance which is given, and then what we saw after that. Mm, and he says, okay, Tathagata has seen and Tathagata has known such bodhisattvas by his Buddha knowledge, by his Buddha eye. Uh, and he said they're understood by the Buddha. And he says that these bodhisattvas will generate immeasurable merit, immeasurable merit, and will acquire it. And then, why is that? because they do not have any Atma Saujnya. They do not have, the Bodhisattvas do not have any perception of self. So they don't adhere to self. They don't adhere to the idea of being sattva. They do not adhere to the idea of jiva, that means a life force, and they do not adhere to or attach to the idea of pudgala, being over and above the five aggregates. Yeah, and then he says that they also do not have dharma saujnya. I mean, so they also do not have any perception, this concept of dharma. Like I am learning dharma, so I am. So this is atma saujnya, right? Like when you say that I learn dharma, so actually they are aspiring to learn the Buddha's discourses. They are making, or they are basically planting the seeds of merit under many Buddhas. But when they do this, I mean, this is basically what a bodhisattva should do at a samruti level. At a samruti level, all of us, we should aspire to learn the Buddha Vachana, right? To learn Buddha's discourses. But when we are learning this, we also have to kind of uh, have this yoga samapatti. We have to kind of tell ourselves, I mean, that we should not get attached to the idea of self, and we should not get attached to the idea of dharma. So two concepts, two type of perception. Because like when we say I learn the dharma or I know the dharma, right? Now when you say I know the dharma, if you really attach to that I, then that will be Atma Saujnya or Sattva Saujnya or Jiva Saujnya or Pudgala Saujnya. Now when you say I learn the dharma and you consider dharma as something, some real kind of a ultimately real entity, then that is also not correct. So you should also not have that dharma saujnya, and one should also not have the saujnya or have this perception that the dharma does not exist. I mean, if you say that, you cannot say I learned the dharma. There is no dharma in ultimate sense. But does that mean that there is no dharma at all? He said no. That also is a wrong conception. So one should neither attach to the existence of dharma nor to the absence of dharma, right? But what should one understand? One should understand. One should transcend. Yeah, so he said that bodhisattvas neither have the saujnya concept nor the absence of concept, because concepts are necessary when we are in the samruti world, when we are in the conventional reality, right? So in conventional reality, these perceptions, they are important. When you say I, yeah, when we are talking to each other, I teach such and such text, or I teach you. So, I mean, all these are okay at the conventional level, at the level of communication. But I should not attach to that as an ultimate reality. So that's the point. And he says that if the bodhisattvas may have, or if they would have the dharma saujnya, then we cannot call them bodhisattvas. Because that itself will imply that they also have atma saujnya, sattva saujnya, jiva saujnya, and pudgala saujnya. So uh, this is the way the bodhisattva should kind of, this should be the approach of a bodhisattva, right? Um, Now, afterwards, he says that bodhisattva should neither what is it? Mm, apprehend the dharma nor adharma. Now, these terms dharma and adharma, I mean, I told you that day that it can have two meanings. One is the dharma and no dharma, or the absence of dharma, the existence of dharma and non-existence or absence of dharma, or it could also mean the righteousness and unrighteousness. Now, he said in this connection, the Tathagata has said, and this very famous statement of the Tathagata, the Buddha, that kolopamam dharma paryayam ajanadbir dharma eva prahatavyaha prageva adharmaha. So he says someone who one who understands that dharma is like a boat or like a raft. That means the teaching of the Buddha, that is all his discourses. They are just like raft. So one who understands like this, so by them, by such people, by such practitioners, um, the the idea of dharma should be abandoned, and much before that, the idea of adharma. Yeah? Now, absence of dharma. Now, this is interpreted in different ways. I mean, one way is like, as I said just now, that you don't attach to the existence of dharma, either ultimate reality or to absence of the dharma. That is dharma and adharma. That will be one interpretation, and the second interpretation will be that those who, I mean, which we find especially in the Theravada tradition, that those who understand that dharma is just like a raft, so they should I mean, first abandon the adharma, that is unrighteousness, and practice righteousness. But after they cross this you can say the ocean of samsara, they should also give up this attachment to righteousness, the dharma. Right? So here we are understanding the word dharma and adharma in a different sense. Okay?
That is related with the Dr. Ambedkar association.
Sorry?
Dr. Ambedkar also mentioned related dharma and
yes, sir. So he is using it in a sense of righteousness and unrighteousness. Okay. But now, I mean, in the from the Madhyamaka or Yogacara point of view, you can understand this dharma and adharma in the sense of whether you, because he's talking about the dharma saujnya, right? You should not get attached to the concept of dharma, right? And then here what he's talking about is the dharma. Okay, I mean, but in at ultimate sense, even the dharma does not exist. Yeah? It is just at the conventional level. So here when we are saying this, we are saying the existing, I mean the existence of dharma and absence of dharma. So he's denying both. I mean, dharma exists or dharma does not exist. He says dharma exists, but not as ultimate reality, but it exists as conventional reality, right? And when he said adharma, dharma does not exist. When he said okay, dharma does not exist, not at a conventional level, but at the ultimate level, right? So this is the like the prajñāpāramitā approach to this. So the same statement, as I said, which we also find, you find this in the Majjhima Nikaya, in the Theravada, in the Pali canon, but there it is used rather in the sense of righteousness and unrighteousness. So they also connect it, for example, the very basic teaching of the Buddha, right? So Buddha says, for example, in Pali there is a stanza which says, I mean, Sabba Papasa Karanam Kusalasa Upasampada Sachitta Pariyodapanam Etam Buddhana Sasanam. So the Buddha's teaching is that you give up what is unwholesome, yeah, what is akusala, and then you acquire what is wholesome, kusala, right? And purification of one's mind. That is the teaching of the Buddha. So now, I mean, the first statement, that not doing any evil, this is basically giving up adharma, right? Giving up what is not righteousness, what is not righteous, what is unrighteous, right? To give up all evil things, evil thoughts, evil speech, evil actions, right? So, and then second step is acquiring the kusala thing. So this is something like dharma, right? This is righteousness. So you have to cultivate righteousness. You have to cultivate wholesome things. So right speech, right? Right action, right thought. So this should be acquired. And then finally the purification of mind. Now when you say purification of mind, that means you should not attach even to dharma, right? You should give up all sorts of attachment, right? And that is the purification of mind. So in this way, that is connected, right? So one has to first give up adharma by taking hold of dharma. But once you reach the shore, once you reach the other shore, you even have to give up, abandon the dharma, right? And should not attach to it. Just like you just use the boat to cross the ocean, but once you reach the ocean, the other shore, you don't carry the boat on your shoulder, right? So but that's the idea of righteousness, unrighteousness. But Now here, when we are talking about this particular idea, uh, wait, of course that idea is also there, but more than that, we are talking whether the dharma exists in reality or dharma does not exist. Yeah. So dharma as a teaching, I mean as discourse of the Buddha, it exists, yeah, as a conventional reality, but does not exist as an ultimate reality. And one has to kind of have balance between that, right? So one should understand that okay, at the first level, sthathavyam level, the chanda pranidhana level, where we have the desire and conviction, or we have to accept that okay, there is dharma, and I should make efforts to learn the dharma, right? To practice the dharma and so on. But then when at the yoga samapatti level, the pratipattavyam level, you also have to tell yourself that okay, one I should not get attached to the idea of dharma, right? Because attaching to the idea of dharma implies that you are also attaching to the self. Because when if you say, if you start thinking that I learn dharma, so when you say when you accept I and you accept dharma, then already you are attaching to the idea of self and idea of dharma. So you're attaching to concepts, not to reality, right? So then that is something which is an obstacle in your progress as a practitioner. So one has to give up that, and for that they use this statement of the Buddha. That Buddha says that you have to give the dharma is just like a boat, and you have to give up the dharma, and much before that you have to give up adharma. That means you should give up the ideas of existence of dharma and non-existence of dharma. You should transcend these ideas. So you should transcend the asti nasti, exists and does not exist. This kind of two extremes, yeah, philosophically, these two extremes of existence and non-existence, one should transcend, and that is the middle way, right? And that's the prajñāpāramitā. That middle way is the prajñāpāramitā. Okay. We also had this, Chetan, if you remember when we Lankavatara we read last time, we had this discussion there. Yes. Okay.
So can we consider the Dharma is one part of skillful means?
Yes, it is. It is a skillful means. So that's why I mean it's a skill. It's a means basically. Yeah, it's a means to attain certain goal, right? But when you reach that goal, you should not attach to the means. I mean, that's the idea. So uh, yeah. So this is how it is understood here, right? Mm. So you just have to keep this in mind. I mean, there are these two interpretations of this same statement. Okay. Yeah, because we have it in Pali. I mean, and we also have it here. Same statement. Mm, then so that was about this dharmakāyaptikamata in the sense of the pravachana, right? Attachment to the discourses. Okay, and then. Then okay, and then we moved on to this another aspect of the dharmakāyaptikamata, that is the attainment. Yeah? Because I told you the dharmakāyaptikamata, dharma it has two meanings, either the discourse or attainment. Now, in the case of attainment, also I have told you that commentary understands it, that there is attainment through knowledge and attainment through merit, right? So these are the two aspects of the attainment. So first he talks about the attainment through knowledge, and then there the Buddha says that what do you think, O Subhuti? Do you think that there is some dharma which Tathagata has realized, called namely the highest, the ultimate enlightenment? So what do you think that is ultimate enlightenment or awakening is some kind of dharma that the Tathagata has realized? Now this is talking about the attainment, right? It's talking about the realization, the enlightenment So, so what do you think? Is there any dharma in reality? Yeah. Now, when you say, is there any dharma which Tathagata has realized? What it means is that is there any dharma in ultimate sense? Yeah. Does there exist any dharma in an ultimate sense, which is called or the highest enlightenment or highest awakening? And then Subhuti he understands what actually is meant by. Yeah. And the second part was that is there any dharma which Tathagata preached? So basically, when we say Buddha, we call someone Buddha because of two reasons. One reason is that he is called Buddha because he has realized the dharma, realized the bodhi. Yeah? And secondly, we call him Buddha because he teaches the bodhi. So Buddha has these two aspects: realization and teaching. Right. So now he is asking that is there any dharma? Does there exist any dharma in reality, in ultimate sense, which the Buddha realized and which the Buddha preached? Yeah, and the answer then the Subhuti understands the intention of the Buddha, and he says, as I know the intention of the Buddha, I say that there is no such dharma which Tathagata has either realized or the Tathagata has either or he has preached, right? So basically, this is a thing like which is telling you that there is enlightenment, there is teaching of enlightenment, yeah? Or you can say there is realization of enlightenment and there is a preaching of enlightenment, but they are there, they exist only at the conventional level, right? In ultimate, at the ultimate level, neither the realization nor the preaching of dharma is possible. Okay, the way we understand it. Yeah, because the way we understand this idea is that, like we say, okay, the Buddha realized bodhi. So now the way we say it, we take Buddha as a being, as an entity, right? As an agent, bodhi as an object, and realization as an action. So we kind of consider this agent, object, and action as three separate things. The way we speak, yeah, we always make that distinction. But in reality, realization of enlightenment is one thing, is one experience. It cannot be really separated, right? See, like as our own body, right? It's one body. But then what we do, we imagine, like we say, my hand, my foot, my head. Yeah. So when we do this, what I do, like okay, there is one I, and then that I possess head, hand, foot, right? But this is kind of just at the verbal level, just at the level of communication. But is there anybody, other than my hands, head, and foot who kind of owns this? There are no two things, right? But my hand, body, my legs, they 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 make myself, right? So they are my part. So they are not separate. So similarly, when you say he became Buddha, he was awakened. So Bodhi and Buddha then cannot be separated, right? When we separate it only at the level of language, the way we say things, right? Yeah, so that's how he is kind of now putting it. So at a conventional level, yes, there is enlightenment and there is the teaching of that enlightenment. So one should aspire for that. Because when we want to become a Buddha, when we are aspiring for the Buddha body, this is what we are aiming at. Also the realization of enlightenment. So that one should one should aspire for that, the conventional level. But when you realize it, when you kind of are on the process of realizing it, you should also tell yourself that, see, even though we are saying that, okay, I'm aspiring to become a Buddha, I want to attain enlightenment, this I, it should not be it should not be made prominent. One should not attach to that I and Bodhi as object and so on. Now, he says, why is that? And then that is basically, he should tell, I mean, a practitioner should always tell himself or herself that the dharma cannot be realized and it cannot be taught in ultimate sense, because the dharma is agrahya and anabhilapya. So these are the two characteristics of the dharma, right? Of the awakening, of the bodhi. I mean, now when we are using the word dharma, we are using it in the sense of, not in the sense of a discourse, but in the sense of enlightenment experience. Okay? See, I mean, the same word dharma, so you have to see in which context you are using it. In earlier section, it was used in the sense of teachings, right? Discourses. But now, in this particular section, it is used in the sense of bodhi, the ultimate dharma. Of course, there are also some dharmas before that, like when you become, like for example, Shrotapatti, Sakradagami, Anagami, Arhat, and then Pratyeka Buddha. These are also dharmas. But now, I mean, so when we say Bodhi, we are just talking about the ultimate, the last, the final one. But it is applicable to all the dharmas. Okay. Now, so these dharmas are actually, from the ultimate point of view, they are agrahya and anabhilapya. So agrahya is particularly said, like this particular word grahya means cannot be grasped, cannot be comprehended, incomprehensible. Agrahya. A is a negative particle, graha, to grasp, to comprehend, and this grahya is a potential participle. Okay, so ungraspable. So in other words, what we are saying is that awakening or bodhi, in ultimate sense, cannot become the object of your comprehension. You get the point? It cannot, in ultimate sense. In a conventional sense, yes. When you say that I attain bodhi, okay, bodhi is an object of your, or I understand bodhi, I realize bodhi. So then bodhi becomes object of your grasping, your comprehension. But ultimate sense, in the ultimate sense, it cannot be grasped. It cannot become the object of your grasping. Similarly, it is anabhilapya. You cannot talk about it. It is beyond the scope of verbal communication. See, the enlightenment experience is such that it cannot be communicated. See, and this is true for any communication, for example. Now, okay, I asked you just now, I asked you, okay, so what did you prepare for your food festival? And then Satan said, they prepared so many, and he was so delicious, right? Now, when you say it was delicious, now the experience of eating that food, yeah, which Satan had, was unique to him. Yeah, it was his personal experience. Okay, and that personal experience includes all sorts of, like, the experience of maybe the taste, the experience of smell, right, or experience of touch, form. So all that, I mean, all that he experienced. Now, but now when he is explaining it here, okay, that it was very delicious, it's a very general statement. It does not express his unique experience. Okay, this is generalized. Now, when you generalize something, it is already different from the reality. Okay, it is already away from the reality. You get the point? So therefore, when you talk about something, you already make it secondary. It is not no more the first-hand experience, because the first-hand experience is only yours. So now, when the Buddha became enlightened, his enlightenment experience was unique to him. Now, he tried to explain it to us, right? He said, okay, I realized four noble truths, I realized this and that and that. But for us, these are general words, all right? But they cannot really capture Buddha's actual experience. You get the point? Now, this is, if this is, I mean, when this is true for a very normal thing, yeah, it is much more applicable to higher experiences like enlightenment and so on. So therefore, the Buddha said that this experience is reality, in the ultimate sense. It is neither graspable nor expressible. Right? It cannot become the object of your comprehension. It cannot become the object of your explanation. In ultimate sense. In conventional sense, yes. So Buddha also gave so many discourses. He described nirvana, right? He described what bodhi is, but that is not an ultimate explanation. Okay? So that's the point. So therefore, at the dharma level also, you have to understand that at the realization level also, this realization, what we talk about, enlightenment, the Buddha realized bodhi, and he preached path to enlightenment, right? All that is at a conventional level, not as ultimate reality. Hmm. Yeah. So this is the yoga samapatti part, and he said nasa dharmo na adharma. So it is neither dharma nor adharma. Now here he is using the word dharma adharma again in the context of that experience. Remember, not in the sense of teaching. And he says that it is beyond dharma and adharma. Yeah. So it transcends the existence and non-existence of dharma. Right? Why? And he says asanskrita prabhavita hi Arya Putgalaha. That is an important statement which you have seen yesterday. That he said all the Arya beings, all the enlightened beings, they are asanskrita prabhavita. So their minds are influenced by asanskrita. And asanskrita means unconditioned dharma. And what is unconditioned dharma? Like the enlightenment, right? Okay, nirvana, right? Bodhi. That's asanskrita dharma, right? And when you say asanskrita, what it means is that asanskrita is unconditioned, right? It is not produced. Yeah? It does not arise. And because it does not arise, it also does not cease. Yeah? It does not. So, in their case, they don't, I mean, the way they approach this, I mean, when they talk about enlightenment, I mean, what at the ultimate level, they have this realization that this enlightenment is something which is unconditioned dharma. So it cannot be grasped, it cannot be expressed, it cannot be explained. Right? Hmm.
The that enlightenment is new for you, or
Is what?
that enlightenment is to obtain the enlightenment is new for you, or
It is new for him, of course, from the conventional point of view. Yes. But from the ultimate point of view, like I mean, that enlightenment was not born at that time. Yeah? The enlightenment was there. I mean, it is asanskrita dharma, right? So when you say asanskrita, it is not born, it is not created, right? So it is said in Buddhism, right? So no matter whether the Buddha arises or not, this is the state of this is dharmata is there. I mean, okay.
as you said, the conventional truth that
Yeah, in conventional reality, yes, this was a new thing which he realized. So when Buddha said that, I realized the dharma which was never heard before. Yeah.
in his biography, we are also in his biography we have seen that future he portrayed that future, past, and all that, right?
Hmm.
So, for instance, that he has also mentioned there that in future there will be the Mriti Buddha, right? So Mriti Buddha, that means Buddha, why he is here is only for us. who doesn't have that obtain, who have them to obtain the enlightenment, right? So my question is that, so if it is new for them, then why he has already said there in that Maitri Buddha? Buddha means he is already enlightened.
That's why I said, I mean, you have to understand it from the conventional realism point of view. Conventionally, we can say this. Yeah. So you can say, for example, like you can say, like for example, the president of India was in this school. Yeah, was in such and such school. Now, when the president was in the school, she was not president, right?
I just wanted to know the future president.
Yeah. So even if it's a future president, but I mean he will become president in future, not now. But you can talk about that, right? When you talk about it, you say, okay, future president, yeah, the next prime minister. But I mean, the next prime minister is just at a verbal level, you can say, at a conventional level, you can say, at the level of communication. But this is not an ultimate reality. So, okay, so that was it. So we have seen this. So that was the end of that this particular section about attainment through knowledge. Now, attainment through merit. This is what we have seen today. So we have to read that section, attainment through merit. Maybe Suprasada, can you read this? Bhagwanaha tatkinmanyase subhute yakashchit. Yeah. Yeah, so the Bhagavan said, the exalted one said, yes. Tat kim manyase subhute. So what do you think of subhuti? Okay. Now this particular section is about, as I said, attainment through merit. Now we know that knowledge and merit. So these are the two preconditions, yeah, for enlightenment, for attaining that highest dharma. Two conditions, two requirements. Yeah. So without these two requirements, you cannot become enlightened. You cannot get bodhi. One is the knowledge, and another is merit. Right. So as a bodhisattva, as a practitioner, if you want to become a Buddha, you need to acquire knowledge, and you also need to acquire merit. Now, earlier we have already seen that one should strive to acquire knowledge, yeah, and that through realization, I mean, of enlightenment, but at the same time, one should also try to acquire merit. Now, but this merit again, acquisition of merit. So, this is a kind of a necessary condition. But if you say that okay, the dharma does not exist and Buddha is not anything, so then if punya, if the merit is also not, if it also does not exist, then why should one strive to earn merit? So in order to in this particular context, this particular section is taught, and the Buddha is asking this question to Subhuti, right? So what do you think of Subhuti? Tat kim manyase Subhuti? And through this question, Buddha actually wants to encourage Subhuti and all the bodhisattvas, in fact, to aspire or to have, to wish for, or to have a resolve to earn merit, because that is a necessary condition to become Buddha. So now what is he saying? He says that, so what do you think, O Subhuti, if someone, if some boy or girl, yeah, yah kashit kula putro va kula duhita va. So putra and duhita. Putra means son and duhita is daughter. If any son or daughter of a good family, kula means family. Yeah? If if a son or a daughter of a good family, okay, imam trisahasra mahasahasram lokadhatum saptaratna paripurnam krutva. So by filling up saptaratna paripurnam krutva. Saptaratna means 7 jewels, 7 types of jewels. Okay, so if a son or a daughter, if they fill up, if they fill this entire Trisahasra Mahasahasra Lokadhatu, so this world element Lokadhatu, and it has this adjective, Trisahasra Mahasahasra. So there is a typical calculation. So I mean, like we say, one world element. That means one, you can say in modern terms, like it might be like one. What do you call? I know there are several interpretations of this. I mean, you can say like one solar system, or one maybe one universe. So if those, I mean, the 1,000 such lokadhatus is called sahasra, eka sahasra lokadhatu. Now 1,000 of the 1,000 lokadhatus will become dvisahasra lokadhatu, and 1,000 into 1,000 into 1,000 lokadhatus, that will be 3 sahasra mahasahasra lokadhatu. So 3 sahasra mahasahasra lokadhatu means 1 plus 90, yeah, world elements, not 3,000. Okay, 3 sahasra here does not mean 3,000. Okay, but thrice the 1,000. Okay, 1,000 lokadhatu. So 1,000 into 1,000 into 1,000. Okay. Now, if they fill it up with 7 types of jewels, saptaratna paripurnam krutva. So having filled it up with 7 jewels. Now, what are the 7 jewels? Actually, traditionally in texts like Sadhana Pundarika, they have given list of 7 things. I mean, 7 types of precious things. Now, Ratna does not mean simply jewel, but precious things, precious. So, this includes gold, silver, then Vaidurya, that is this lapis lazuli, then Ashmagarbha, Musaragalbha, and then Lohita Mukta, that is the red pearl, that is a ruby, and then crystal. So like these are the jewels. I mean, they are called 7 jewels. Okay. So ruby, pearl, and crystal. I mean, these are the 7: gold, silver, then this Vaidurya, they call it traditionally lapis lazuli. Yeah? Then Ashmagarbha and Musaragalva. I mean, it is very difficult to find the regular names for that in modern times. And then red pearl. I mean, red ruby, pearl, and crystal. So these are the jewels, okay, which are mentioned in the Sadhana Pundarika Sutra. So actually, their idea of one lokadhatu is like, like when we say this universe, for example, this world. Now, according to the Buddhist cosmology, the world is made up of four islands, 4 dvipa. Like Jambu Dvipa is one dvipa, right? So Jambu Dvipa, then Uttara Kuru, and then Purva Konarda, and what else? The fourth one. what is it called? Uh, I'm forgetting the name of the fourth one. But anyway, so there are the four dvipas, and they say this becomes one lokadhatu. Yeah? And thousand such lokadhatus, and then thousand into thousand into thousand. As I said, I mean, this is the idea of the. So this entire universe, you can simply say. Hmm? Okay.
Imagination.
Huh?
Imagination. Aldarmati. Third chapter.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. So now, if someone fills up such this world, I mean, this just kind of try to give you the biggest size. Yeah. So if one to fill up this one and paripurnam krutva tathagatebhyah arabhyah samyak sambuddhebhyah danam dadyat. And if someone is to give, if someone is to give the donation of such, such a gift to the Tathagata, who is a worthy one, yeah, and who is a perfectly enlightened one. Yeah. So, apinu sa kulaputro va kuladohita va tato nidanam bahutaram punyaskandam prasuniyat. So, what do you think? Would that boy or son or a daughter from a good family, would he produce prasunuyat? This is a potential third person singular from pra plus su is a root. Pra plus su means pra plus su means to produce, to generate. So would he produce much merit? Bahutaram, and bahu actually means many, and bahutar, I mean the tara is added as a comparative suffix, right? Much more, and punya skanda, mass of merit, not just merit but mass of merit, punya skanda, and skanda here means rashi, right? I mean, is a heap of merit. What would you think? That would he generate a large heap of merit on that account, tato nidanam, due to that act of donation? Yeah. So this is the question he asked.
Rashi is
Rashi? Huh?
Rashi.
Huh? Rashi means heap.
Oh, meeting Rashi.
नहीं वो राशि अलग है वो that is constellation. We are not talking about constellation. So ये राशि मतलब हीप होता है ना, जैसे आप चावल का एक ढेर बना देते हैं, ढेर समझ जाते हैं, तो ढेर है. Okay, and what is the answer then, Sukosanti? Can you read the next one?
Yes, sir. Subuti yaha bahu bawawan bahu sugata sa kula pujo va kula duhita va tato nidanam punya skandam rasunyuya.
Yes. Now, I mean, basically the answer is an affirmative yes, he says. Now see, Subhuti is very wise. I mean, he understands the intention of the Buddha. Earlier case, when the Buddha asked him, what do you think, Subhuti? Did Tathagata realize any dharma at the time of as enlightenment, and did he preach any dharma? Then he understands that Buddha is asking this question from the ultimate reality's point of view, right? And he said, no, there is no dharma that was realized by the Buddha as enlightenment, and there is no dharma which he has taught. No? Now, when Buddha asks this question, so what do you think, O Subhuti? Would a, young son or a daughter of a family, if he would give donation to the Buddha, such a large donation, yeah, would he earn some merit? Would he earn lots of merit? Now Subhuti understands that this question is asked from a point of conventional reality. Okay. So what is the answer of Subhuti? He says, yes. Right? Bahu Bhagavan, Bahu Sugata Sakulaputro. So, oh exalted one, much O Sugata would be the heap of merit, which that boy or girl from a good family would produce, yeah, would generate, yeah, on that account. So he much merit. If someone is giving donation to the Buddha, and not just a small donation, but such a large donation, yeah, such unimaginably big donation, then of course he will certainly acquire lots of merit. So he answers this in affirmative. Right? Now, the question is asked. Sunil, can you read the next one? Yes. No, stop. Now he says, Tatkasya hetoho. Now, why is that? So actually, now see this first sentence which we read, I mean, these two sentences which we read. A bodhisattva should aspire to earn merit. Yeah? Bodhisattva should aspire to earn merit by doing acts of donation, etc. Right? I mean, act of donation is one way of earning merit. There could be other ways of earning merit as well. But this donation is just a kind of a one sample thing which is mentioned. So Bodhisattva should aspire for that. But now, so this is a Sthathavyam, this is Chanda Pranidhana level. Now, when he asks the question, Tatkasya hetoho. Now, with that,
Hello? 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 Hello,
We are
sir?
not able to hear anything, Meghnaji.
All right. Thank you.
Yes.
right, Buddha, when he gives discourses on dana, he tells you like how one earn lots of merit. Yeah. But now he said that merit, the mass of merit, the heap of merit which the Buddha talked about in all these discourses, askandaha sa tathagatena bhashitaha. So he says what he said, what he spoke was not a, or was not a skanda from an ultimate reality's point of view. Yeah. So that skanda exists only as a conventional reality, but not as ultimate reality. Why? I mean, so this is, I mean, this is something which is saying here. Now you see, uh, now what do you mean by merit? If I ask you this question, do you know what is merit? What is merit? So what is merit? If I
It's like energy type. Energy.
Energy. Yes.
If we talk through science, it's like we talk energy.
No, forget about science. I mean, these days people try to explain everything from science, but I mean, science is a different thing, and spirituality is a different thing. I mean, what science is trying to do and what spirituality is trying to do is different thing. Now, traditionally, the Kamalaśīla, when he writes his commentary, he explains that he says all wholesome thoughts, kushala chitta, wholesome consciousness, and and the vasana and the impressions created by those meritorious thoughts, that is merit. Okay, so that's the definition given by Kamalaśīla. Okay, not from science, but from the traditional Buddhist point of view. When you say merit, merit is the impression left by meritorious acts, thoughts, yeah, meritorious consciousness basically. When you have meritorious consciousness through which you do either meritorious acts or physically or verbally, right, or mentally, so those you can say wholesome volitions. When you have those wholesome volitions, they create some kind of impression, right? The karmic impression, yeah, on your in your consciousness, and that is merit.
Effect of the past wholesome.
Yeah, not yeah. I mean, effect of the wholesome, but not effect. I mean, when you say effect, it's a different thing. Like, for example, I give you, let's say I donate 1 lakh rupees to you. Okay. Now that's an act. It has an effect, right? Effect is that you got 1 lakh rupees, but that is not punya, because then otherwise that punya will go to you, right? When you say effect, what is actually meant is that when I, for example, when I had this meritorious thought of donating, yeah, 1 lakh rupees, that meritorious thought has created some karmic impressions on in my consciousness, right? That is merit. Therefore, I have good thought, I will have merit. Yeah? You will get money, but I will have merit. Get the point? Huh? No? What do you don't understand? You pay attention.
Yeah.
See, when I have a good thought, that good thought in in my consciousness, right? It is creating some impression in my consciousness. Some karmic impact is there on my consciousness. That karmic impact is merit. Okay? It is not the effect. When you say effect, it is something different. Effect can be physical, like when I give donation, it will have some effect on you, right? If I give donation to you, of course you will get the money, you can do whatever you want with the money, you can enjoy, but that will be the kind of a outward effect. We are not talking about that. When we say merit, we are talking about what impressions, yeah, the wholesome, the good impression which it leaves on my consciousness, yeah. So that is merit. Okay. Now, so when you do certain good act, like you say, like when you say punya rashi, punya skanda, because does lots of merit, lots of meritorious act. So the size of his meritorious act, the impact is so high that therefore he say punya rashi. Now we use this expression punya rashi, okay, but this is our punya skanda, but this is just a verbal expression. Yeah, merit is not object, right? Merit is not like just like rice or corns, yeah, like you make a heap of them. So this is just a way of saying this, right? It's just a conventional way of expressing. Okay. Now, if when you say that ultimately, from the ultimate reality's point of view, nothing arises, nothing ceases. Yeah? There is no arising, there is no ceasing, there is no cessation. Hmm. And in that, so from that point of view, it is not possible to produce merit because nothing can be produced, nothing can cease from the ultimate reality's point of view. Conventionality, yes, from causes and conditions, things arise, yeah, and from due to the cessation of causes and conditions, the effect ceases. This is okay, but this is at the conventional level. But from the ultimate reality's point of view, nothing arises. Just in the previous sense we have seen, right? That the noble people, noble beings, Arya Pudgalas, their minds are asanskrita prabhavita. Yeah? They do not think of any arising or any cessation, right? So they are not attached to arising and cessation. They are not attached to existence and non-existence. Yeah, because this exists only at the conventional level, not at the ultimate level. Okay. Yeah. Now when Buddha says that when he talks about merit, that is just at the conventional level. He said, okay, there is merit, but at ultimate level, there is no skandha, there is no heat, yeah? There is no mass of merit. Okay. So this is what basically we have to. I mean, a practitioner has to train himself, right? Tell himself or herself that this punya skandha, okay, this is only at the conventional level, but ultimately there is no mass of merit, right? Because nothing arises ultimately, so one does not get attached to it, right? That's the idea. Why should we have this? Because one should not get attached to this. Okay. So one should try to go beyond existence and non-existence, because ultimately merit is also a condition, yeah, which depends on its causes, right? So they do not exist in I mean, it does not have any ultimate existence. Okay. Yeah. Now the next one, Satan, can you read the next one? So this is the yoga samapatti section. Huh? Okay, this is how one should train oneself. So when he's striving to earn merit, at the same time, I mean, when he's meditating, you should tell himself that, look, this merit or the mass of merit, it exists only at the conventional level, but it does not exist at the ultimate level. So don't get attached to it. So this is the approach which a practitioner should have. Okay, then next one. Yes. Wait. Now he said tasmat. Therefore, tasmat tathagato bhashate. Therefore, the tathagata says punyaskandha iti. And therefore, all the time, tathagata talks about punyaskandha. I mean, therefore, he talks about it means what? So it means bhashate. So at the level of speaking, at the level of communication, yes, merit is there. Merit exists. But at the ultimate level, it does not exist. So when you say therefore, at the communication level, it is possible to say Punyaskanda, Punyaskanda. Right? So at the level of communication, it is okay to say you, me, yeah, I, mine. This is fine at the conventional level, but not at the ultimate level. Ultimately, that does not exist. Okay. Yeah. No. Stop. Next one. Okay. Again, Super Sada. Will you read the next one? Mahasahasra. Trisahasra Mahasa. You don't break the sandhi there. It is not sandhi. Okay, just take a pause here. I mean, so he says, therefore, I mean, Osubhuti. I mean, now you see, if somebody would, I mean, the same sentence is repeated. We have seen this sentence. If any, the Bhagwan said, so, oh Subhuti, whosoever, boy or girl from a good family, yeah, if he has to fill up this thrice, I mean, basically 1 trillion lokadhatus. You understand, right? 1 million, like million is thousand, yeah. So 1,000 is 1 million, right? And thousand, like 1 billion, yeah. So you say 1 billion. Yeah? So if one fills up this 1 billion world, I mean universes with the 7 types of jewels or precious things, and would offer it to the Tathagata, who is a Arhat, that means a deserving one, and a perfectly enlightened one. Uh, so more than that, he says. Yeah, we continue. Yascha. Yascha ito vamabrayaya dan satchatus kamati latha mudya parebhyo vistarena deshayet samprakashayet. Yeah. Ayameva. So, okay, just a minute. Take a pause. And if and whosoever, yeah, and yascha, and whosoever from this whole mass of teaching. Now you can see here. Yascha. Yeah, yascha ito dharma paryaya. From this dharma paryaya. Now, when he say from this dharma paryaya, he is not specifically talking about, I mean, this prajñāpāramitā sutra, of course, but I mean any of the teachings of the Buddha. So maybe whosoever from this particular dharma discourse, dharma paryaya, if he would learn udgruhya, so having learned even just a single gatha, antatascha. So, I mean, at least one gatha, least. Yeah? So, I will say in English, yeah, at least. So, antasha, this antashaha, yeah, antashaha means at least. If you would learn at least one gatha with 4 padas, with 4 quarters, each gatha, gatha, you know this word gatha, right? What is gatha? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, gatha is a verse. I mean, it's a name. Basically, it's the name of a meter where there is no pause. I mean, if we have to learn from the point of prosody, gatha is a meter which has no pause. So that means without yati. You learn about yati, right? When you did your prosody. So without yati, a prose, a verse composition without yati is called gatha, and it has 4 padas. There could be also gathas with 6 padas and so on, but 4 pada is a kind of standard thing, like anushtup. Yeah, a meter has this 4 padas, and there is no yati there is no pause, so we can say anushtup composition is a gatha composition. Okay, so after learning, at least one gatha from this particular Dharma discourse, from this release discourse, parebhyaha vistarena deshayet, and if one would teach it to others in detail, vistarena, and if one would teach it in detail to others, samprakashayet, so one would teach or explain in detail to others. Then, what he says? Ayameva, can you continue?
Ayameva tatvamidhanam sahasradam punyaskandam prasunyata rameya samkheyam.
Yes. And he says that this person, Ayam, sure, he would produce more merit. Bahutaram punyas. Ayam eva tato nidanam bahutaram punyaskandam prasunyat aprameyam asankhya. So he would, with that person who is learning one gatha and teaching it to others and explaining it to others in detail, so he would earn more merit, much more merit than this other person. On that account, tato nidanam. He said, due to that, he would produce much more merit which cannot be measured, cannot be counted. Aprameyam, asankheyam. Aprameyam means which cannot be measured, immeasurable. Yeah, it's a potential participle, negative. Similarly, asankheyam. Sankhya is counting, sankheyam is countable, and asankheyam is uncountable, innumerable. Yeah? So on that account, he says that one would produce much merit which is immeasurable and innumerable. Now this emphasizes the fact that this merit one acquires, right? We have seen, remember last time when we discussed about dana, what are the different types of danas? Huh? We talked about dana, right? Generosity. 2 types. Which are the 2 types?
Dana of dharma, dana of teaching that.
And what is the second one?
Other is that dana through the materials, things from it. These are 2 types.
Right? 2 types of dana. So Santi is finding out answer, searching. Could you find it? We talked about 3 types of dana. Yeah. So Amisha dana, material donation. Abhaya dana, so donation, bestowing security and safety. Yeah. No danger, non-danger. Yeah. So that is second type of dana, and third was dharma dana, is it? The donation of dharma, the teaching. Security. Abhaya dana. So non-danger. So assurance of non-danger, not no danger, no violence. That is also dana. Now we have seen that the dharma dana is of course superior to the material dana. So this is what he's saying, that this is superior, the dharma dana, and therefore just learning one stanza and then teaching it to others, explaining it to others, is much more meritorious, and we cannot even measure its its size, its number. It is immeasurable, innumerable, right? So in this way, of course, it is shown that this merit which we talk about, the highest type of merit is the merit acquired through Dharmadana. Merit acquired through the teaching or learning and teaching of the discourses. Which I am doing, yes. Okay. And you are expected to. Sorry? What did you say?
I just say you are doing that.
Yes, I'm doing that. So, Dhammadana, and I'm so learning some at least one gatha. So let's see now what happens. Now, um so he said that he would produce much more merit by doing that. Now, in this way, I mean, of course, there is this again the encouragement to bodhisattvas to not just to learn the dharma, but also to teach the dharma. Right? This is what they should do. So this is again a chanda pranidhana type of thing, even for earning merit. Donation is one way, but for bodhisattvas and mahasattvas, the most important thing is to preach dharma to others, because when they preach dharma to others, they will in a way prepare them, mature them for enlightenment. Yeah. So that's why that's a ultimate. I mean dharma. Um, ultimate way of earning merit. Yeah, for bodhisattva, and this earning merit is important. Yeah. Now, so next one, then the Buddha is asking the question. Sukosanti, can you read the next one?
Yes, Askasya hetu atoni jata hisuvute tathagata nam mahatam sabyak sambuddhanam anuttara sabyak sambodhi atoni jata buddha paragata.
Yeah. Now, let's see. So he says that तत्कस्य हेतुः अतो निर्जाता हि सुभूते तथागतानाम् अर्हतान् सम्यक् सम्बुधानाम् अनुत्तरा सम्यक् सम्बोधिः अतो निर्जाताश्च बुद्धा भगवन्तः. Yeah. So he says, oh Subhuti, because. So why it is important? Why dharma is so important? Why these teachings are so important? He says because the Buddhas. So sorry. So nirjata means born. Okay. Ato nirjata, from here, from this means from this dharma, from these teachings. Teaching of the God, teaching of the dharma pariyaya. From these discourses, from this dharma, are born, or is born. What is born? Tathagatanam arhatam samyak sambuddhanam anuttara samyak sambodhihi. So this highest enlightenment, highest and perfect enlightenment of the Tathagatas, who are, who are worthy and are perfectly enlightened, is born from it, is born from this dharma. So you see, this is a connection. Even though we say that, okay, ultimately these discourses are not ultimate reality, but discourses are important. Why? Because they are the source of enlightenment. The enlightenment of the Buddhas is born or has resulted from those sutras, from those discourses. And for what is the further? Ato nirjatasya buddha bhagavanta. And from that enlightenment are born the Buddhas. Or you can ultimately say that, okay, the Buddhas are also born from the discourses. Now you see, we have all, in the introduction we have seen that prajñāpāramitā is also considered as the mother of all Buddhas, isn't it? We talked about that, right? So the sutra, the discourse which teach prajñāpāramitā, in that sense we can say that sutra is a source It's a mother of the enlightenment, and it is therefore also the mother of all the Buddhas. Because if the sutras are not there, you don't understand the path to attain the perfection of wisdom. If you don't know that path to attain the perfection, you cannot attain enlightenment. If you cannot attain enlightenment, you cannot become Buddha, right? So in order to become Buddha, you need to attain enlightenment. In order to attain enlightenment, you know how to practice prajñāpāramitā. And in order to practice prajñāpāramitā, you should know the sutra. Yeah. So from that point of view, he says that, okay, I mean, see, this is just like we say that. So these discourses, they are like map to reach to a certain destination. You want to go somewhere and you don't know where that place is exactly. So you use map, yeah, to reach there. But you know that, I mean, you know that the map is not the thing, right? The map is not a place. It's not the place where you want to go. But map is helpful. So map is like a conventional reality. It is real. It is helpful. It's a means it can lead you to your destination. But once you reach the destination, you close the map and put it in your pocket. So you don't attach to the map. So same way, the dharmas, discourses, they are like that. They are like maps. And you use them, to attain your goal, and then you don't attach to them. So he says that, so this is why we say that by learning dharma and by teaching it, one can acquire more merit than donating lots of material objects. Yeah. Yes. And Sunim, can you read the next one? Yeah. So this was, I mean, now he's talking about the yoga samapatti. So he's encouraging you to learn dharmas, right? To learn and to teach. And then tatkase hetoho. Why is that? Yes. Yeah, and also continue and tenuchate. Okay, stop. Now he says, and why is that? Tatkase hetoho. And the answer is like, okay, the Tathagata, Subhute, these dharmas, like Buddha Dharma, which Tathagata has described. Okay, so whatever Tathagata has described as Buddha Dharma, the Buddha quality, the Buddha teachings. Now he says this is just true as a conventional reality. So adharmasyate tathagatena bhashitaha. So whatever Tathagata has preached. So these dharmas which are taught by the Tathagata, they are not true, not real from the ultimate point of view. So from the ultimate point of view, they are not dharma, because the moment he speaks, the moment he talks about it, it becomes conventional. And when it becomes conventional, it is not real. Get the point? And why? Because, as I said, what is unique, when you talk about it, you make it general. Right? You generalize it. And when you generalize it, it is no more real. Okay? That's the point. Okay? And at the ultimate level, at the level of your personal experience, also, there cannot be any division between an experiencer, and the object of experience. They cannot be separated. they are one. So therefore, this division of object, agent, action is not real. It is just mentally created, and therefore it is a vikalpa. It is just a you get the point? And therefore they are called Buddha Dharma. Tena uchyate Buddha Dharma iti. And therefore they are called Buddha Dharma. Now this uchyate is important. So conventionally, yes, we talk about Buddha Dharmas. Why? Because as Buddha Dharmas, they are conventional reality. We are not saying that they do not exist. We are not saying that they do not exist absolutely. They exist, but at a conventional level. So at the conventional level, so this food, Vietnamese food, tasty Vietnamese food, delicious Vietnamese food exists. Yeah? But as an ultimate reality, it does not. I mean, because it is generalized now when you talk about it. Okay. Yes. Okay, so now with this, basically, we end the this particular section. Okay. So this last one which Sunim just now read, that was the I mean the Yoga Samapatti and Chitta Pragraha part. I mean, so you should understand, okay, that this Dharma Dana is very important way of earning merit. It is just to encourage you at the initial level, at the Sthathavyam level. But when you progress to the next level, you don't have to get attached to this, because ultimately this Buddha Dharma, the teachings of the Buddha, what we call, is a conventional thing, right? It does not have any ultimate existence. And the Chitta Pragraha part, we have seen that, but still we say it. We talk about it. So we have to have this balance that yes, the Buddha's teachings, they exist, but not as ultimate reality, but as conventional reality. Okay. Yeah. So with this, actually, this particular section ends, and now from here onwards. So from here onwards, he actually talks about different obstacles. I mean, the next stages from here on, which we will study. They are actually different obstacles, and in attainment of enlightenment. I mean, ultimately now the attainment of enlightenment, that's the last goal, the 18th step. But before that, now from the next step onwards, what we basically are going to read is different obstacles in the way of what do you say? In the way of this enlightenment. So this next one is, when you start practicing, and when you start progressing on the path, right? You attain some higher stages, and then at that time, the first hurdle could be to have ego, right? The ego may develop. So the next step, therefore, is to get rid of that ego. Yeah. When some special attainments are achieved, special success is achieved. So that is the next step. Okay, and that is what we are going to going to talk. I think I'll have to stop here. Maybe Chetan, can you see वो चब्बुक सवारी जी को जानते हो? जो हमारे MLA वो आते हैं हमारे. Because I'll have to go for the meeting. Huh? कोई अंदर आया ना? हाँ नहीं वो हाँ 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 पूछो पूछो. Yeah, I think he said probably we'll have to stop here anyway. So I think we have it's a good point to stop here because we have finished this section, and from we have to start a new section. So we'll do it on Monday then.
Thank you, sir.